And generally, like with this being already infected at this point, taking the time to remove the bandage, not a big deal. Like, yep, see, it's already sorted. So like it's not an issue. You notice that we had a scratch, it got infected, and in the course of the same day, we are fully healed from it, and we are slow healer. So like, as I mentioned, infection is pretty meaningless in this game. I'm gonna let those cabbage stay in there a little longer and seed. Alright, don't see any zombies. So let's start taking all these logs and keep building our perimeter. Also, let's be smart and break out our radio. And check if we're expecting helicopter today. So I think I'm actually going to run around and just start lobbing apart all the logs first. And they'll start taking the bag to actually drag them all over the place. Because I'm mostly waiting to see what happens with this broadcast, because if it is a helicopter day, especially with us switching to the unstable branch where zombies' positions may have been reset, so I really don't know what to expect when you get out and about. I want to play it very cautiously for the first type of events we have. Because like I said, the last time we went through this was when the multiplayer dropped. And what happened with us for that was we were in the middle of save and I actually pulled it up and a zombie was in the room with me when I spawned, and we only survived because the random rule where you can sometimes shove a zombie off you versus getting injured. We got lucky. Alright, no mention of the helicopter, so that's good. Actually, I'll leave that on for now. Because I don't... Like, yeah, the batteries are limited in this game, but, like, we have something like 80 batteries or something by now, and I haven't been taking the time to even collect them. And this is the very first battery this radio has ever had. And we're about 10.5 months in, so... Not particularly worried about batteries. And so just as a reminder for everyone who's been tuning in the channel who may not like watch the Discord and all that, we did finish our Arco Nexus run in RimWorld this Sunday, and I have been clear that like RimWorld has been gradually losing viewership on Twitch as a whole, both in viewers and in raw time watched, to the point it's going, alright, like, it's perfectly fine for like other games day right now, but for like having its own dedicated spot on the channel's schedule, I'm like, the viewership isn't really there to justify that anymore. Like, I don't need something high viewership, I just need it to not be super low viewership. So we have taken RimWorld off the schedule, and we are looking to figure out what we're going to replace it with. So I do have a poll going on right now on the Discord. You'll find it in the announced channel, which the games we have that are strongly being considered is doing Path of Exile, which is what we did on Monday for about half the stream. Doing some Lost Ark, which I couldn't tell you anything about, other than it's an MMORPG, or MMOARPG. And so, like, it's the only game on the list that's, well, one of two games on the list that actually probably would be a hot game right now. But it's just like, okay, people are hyping this game a lot. It sounds good. I like ARPGs. I'd be willing to give it a go. Like, it doesn't, like, I haven't specifically heard, like, really bad things about it, so yeah, I'll give it a shot. So that's another one. Elden Scrolls, when it drops, which it drops this Thursday, and I probably would not play it till Sunday. But that's a Dark Souls, like it's from FromSoft, who's the ones who actually make Dark Souls. But it's like their next game in that. When I say series, it's just the Souls-like series. I don't believe technically it's a Dark Souls game. I actually don't know where it fits in regards to like the story and lore and all that. But that'd definitely be one, because I've mentioned a few times on stream that may not seem like it, but I have been a huge fan of the Souls series, as well as what few have come out on PC, similar games. I just like the playstyle of those games. So that would be hype. And to give you an idea, like I've played all the Dark Souls titles and Demon Souls and all that. I didn't play Bloodborne yet because it wasn't on PC. I do believe it recently got put on PC as well, if I recall correctly. But it is one I need to go to. And my understanding with that is Bloodborne is effectively a more aggressive Dark Souls, which is fine. I've played a number of other Souls-like games that I've really enjoyed. Like, what was... I always forget the name of it. Was it the Surge? But there was one where your person effectively has, like, an exosuit. But it's a Souls-like game where, you know, you have paths that loop back over it and all that. Oh, that's no fun. Yeah, like, consoles are fine. Like, I know there's people like, ew, console. But, I spend enough money on getting a proper computer for work and for gaming and all of that stuff. Dropping another like $400, $500, $600, $700 on a gaming system, I'm like, but why would I do that? I already have a gaming system. And I get it, you know, there's game exclusives, but I have very strong opinions about game exclusives and how they're, in my opinion, anti-consumer and all that. And I know why they do it, and I get it. But, for me personally, I won't buy a console to get a hold of the exclusives. There's enough games out there. I will play on whatever system I have, and if your game isn't available on that system, I guess I just won't buy or play it. If there was a shortage of games, we'd be talking a different situation, but that is not a problem. As anyone who has ever participated in a Steam summer or winter or any other sale will experience, of where they look at their game library and they're like, I haven't even played all these games. Why did I buy this? Okay, so I'm going to turn off the radio because I'm comfortable that there is no helicopter today. Because then we're going to pull out our other backpack and start doing build wall things. I am curious when my wife gets home, just to like, because this cruise thing came out of nowhere that she's talking about doing. Like, I am curious to ask her. It's like, all right, well, you know, like, how'd this come about? Because it's like I said, it's something I was saying, hey, you should spend more time with your friends and all that. And then just to come out of left field, I'm like, all right, I mean, cool. It's literally what I suggested you do. So awesome. It just was so random that it came out now versus when we last discussed it, kind of thing. Alright, and give me a moment and I will do some push-ups. You're actually saying feel the burn and walking away. It's like my pants shift and everything is like, oh, I've lost some weight, I'm guessing. Because I might be in that I need a belt territory. And these pants did not previously need a belt, so winning? I mean, I'm sure we've been doing the push-ups for like what? About a month now? 50 to 100 push-ups every day? I'd be surprised if I shed a couple pounds. Yeah, and so I don't think, like, I'm not doing this whole block, I don't think, but I do think I'm going to try and go over to where this driveway is. I also have a feeling with how many planks I put around here and all this debris making it hard to see where they are, I could certainly see that, you know, we think we've got them all, and then winter rolls around and we see like a stack of planks off in the corner kind of thing that just got overlooked. Alright, this car is going to need to back up a little. Or no, I'll put one tile out from here. That's what we'll do. Well, one tile out from this. Well, that's interesting. It considers the car that far forward. Alright, 2 tiles out. This is not a precise thing. Also need to go, there's plenty of buildings that there's lots of door hinges and doorknobs. I'll also have to grab those for making the gates and whatnot. Yeah, once I frame this perimeter out, what I'll probably do is the next project to do around the base is actually putting some flooring in. Find what flooring we like and actually replace just the wood boards with it everywhere. And like probably put down wood boards in the floor over here just to keep the trees and grass from growing back in. Hey, Ghost of Blue, thank you for the raid. Give me a moment, I'm going to give you a shout out. There's a shout out for the Ghost of Blue. You are playing Blank Frame. I am not familiar with that game. But, so how is your stream? And how is Blank Frame? Like what is that? And thank you for the follow. Mirmir931, welcome to the stream. Thank you to the follow Light Shift Revolution, welcome to the stream. Thank you to the follow Martyr of Flowers, welcome to the stream. I like that name a lot. Welcome to the follow, Nox and Bunny. Welcome to the stream. I feel like I mispronounced that. If I did, please correct me and let me know. It's a horror indie game. Gotcha. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Horror indie game, probably not my jam, but I do appreciate the thing. I don't know. I've never been huge on like proper horror stuff like this where it's got like a horror theme is good. Actually let me take that back. Psychological horror games, I'm down. Like old school horror, like just werewolves and that, like jump scary horror, I should say. Horror that's around jump scares are not my jam. Horror that you're sitting there watching going, I'm feeling very uncomfortable like right now with what's happening in this game, like that kind of horror. That is much more my jam. Is Subnautica considered a horror game? So it's kind of Silent Hill. Alright. So it's kind of Silent Hill, alright. And then you're saying Subnautica is a horror game, and I can get that, you know, swimming into the dark depths and that is facing a fear. Like, I know a number of people who cannot safely play Subnautica. I don't remember what the term is, but it's people who can't handle, like, swimming down, especially into, like, areas where you can't see, just is not a doable thing for them. But I wouldn't go as far as to call Subnautica horror. Like, for me, for something to be horror is it's very specifically the game is trying to play off your fear. Where, again, it can be psychological fear, it can be jump scares, it can be like you have the jump scare sound in Project Zomboid where you hear the violin... Thalassophobia? Yeah, fear of deep oceans. Yes, I believe that what it is. But from the people I've talked to who suffer from that or they're like on the edge of suffering from it, where they have kind of some of the tropes, that from what I understood, the thing that's like where it goes from they're okay to like really not okay is when you're going down and it's too dark. All right, Light Shift, you have a good one. Alright, sounds good. But yeah, so I wouldn't call Subnautica a horror game. Just like, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't call Project Zomboid a horror game. Even though it's themed around zombies, and typically zombies are a horror theme, and they even have a jump scare sound, I wouldn't say fear is the primary thing happening in the game. You better stream this game again, because I want to say, oh... if you're talking to Ghost of Luke, I can't say anything about that. If you're talking about me playing Project Zomboid, we play it 4 days a week, so that won't be a problem. It's kind of the mainstay on the channel, so if you're looking for the Zomboid, you will find the Zomboid. Wait till you hear the Ghost Leviathan scream. Yeah. And we're just doing all this crafting, not because we need to right now. We've already maxed out our carpentry skill. We're basically in a day where we're just going to have Storm on and off again. And so these kind of days, we just work on skills, we do home improvement, we do that kind of stuff, stay safe. So we're making a larger perimeter around our base, so that way I can work on cars in peace and not have to constantly be watching over my shoulder. We did take the new unstable update. So I am being a bit more careful than I normally am, just because we don't know where the zombies might be with how much stuff. Like, sometimes you get your updates, they'll reset zombie positions. Not all of them, but some of them. But yeah. Smoker Silver said, I was playing Project Zomboid last night and scared me so bad I screamed so loud that I got my partner downstairs in a panic. Yeah, so you can absolutely have moments where you get jump scared. Like, I've had once or twice in stream. Like, one of the ones that got me is just opening a door. I didn't even get hit by the zombie. But, like, if you imagine this is the door here, the zombie was here. And just sitting down. But, you know, I stepped out of the door. Because it had been one of those things that I walked in, no problem. I think, like, I went to the sink, grabbed one thing of food to eat in-game, and turned and walked back in the door. And just a zombie in that time had, like, walked up and sat down next to the door. And so I was just completely surprised by it, and that just really got me jumping. Just like heart racing kind of thing. Alright, so we got another stretch redemption. I'll do that here in a second. But for those who aren't familiar, I'll actually talk through the stretches this time. But I do what are called median nerve stretches, or median nerve glides, which are a type of stretch. Basically, they're stretch for helping prevent repetitive stress injuries, specifically stuff like tennis elbow, carpal tunnel syndrome, meridian nerve compression, all those stuff that if you play a lot of games or otherwise do a lot of stuff with your hands, they're usually a concern, whether it's, you know, knitting, sewing, tennis, gaming, crochet, I don't know. Feel free to fill in anything, you know, else that are very repetitive hand things. But nevertheless, and you don't need to get lewd with that, but nevertheless, it's those types of injuries. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of the stretches that I do. There's like literally dozens and dozens and dozens of these kinds of things. Darsters, I remember when I was taking deep biomes and the Ghost Leviathan came out, could spawn, and I was going to phase with the way. Yep. Competitive underwater thumb wars. Y'all know hand stuff. Yep. So, if you take your arm and you set it down so that you see this side's up, this is the inner elbow, bend this way. And we take our hand and we want to tip this down just until we feel the tiniest bit of stretch here or back here, either or. And you take it till you feel just the tiniest bit. You're not trying to force it. You can hurt yourself. Just the tiniest bit of a stretch, and you hold it there for 30 seconds. All right, and once you've done that, without rotating your arm, you're going to turn your hand up. So again, this is the way my arm bends. This is the opening. This is the inside elbow. Same deal. The moment you feel a stretch, you're going to hold it there for 30 seconds. And it's very important that you're not twisting your arm, because the idea is you want the bones to be. I'll show you in a moment. So like when you look at the bones in your arm here, so you'll see like you have your two bones here. Now if I rotate my wrist, now those bones are kind of crisscrossed over like that. You don't want that. But yeah. And that's just for the stretches. And so then we just repeat it. And so that'll help with a lot of that stuff, because what you're doing is when you're dealing with stuff like carpal tunnel syndrome, the thing that actually causes you problems is there is a very narrow channel in your wrist, in your bones, called the carpal tunnel. And there is like a sheath that goes inside of it that is called the median nerve. And what that is all the ligaments in your fingers, those all come down through here. They go into that carpal tunnel, the meridian nerve. Then they go down here and they have the muscles that control your fingers down here. So it's like a crane that, even though this is where stuff's happening, all the work is happening down here. And so this is just a very sensitive spot where if that median nerve gets inflamed, if you look at the carpal tunnel as being this chasm, now this thing just kind of grows and fills up the whole thing. You end up causing yourself actual injury. So it's good to do that. And like I said, these are called median glide stretches. And there are dozens of these. Some of them, I will warn you, look absolutely ridiculous. It looks like the world's worst version of the Egyptian dance kind of stuff, or that you're like shaking hands off your water. But they do help. And all of it's just about kind of limbering up those muscles and all that, kind of getting them stretched, getting them warmed up. That way they don't get inflamed when you use them. Okay. And I don't talk through those stretches every time or anything. When people do the redemption, it's usually like once, maybe twice, sometimes 3 times during the stream. I'll actually take the time to like talk people through it, otherwise I'll just do them. But it's good to do those periodically as you're sitting at the computer, you know. You hit a load screen, or you're like, okay, I just finished that boss off that's kept me, you know, really focused. Let's instead, you know, do a quick round of stretches real fast. Because I can tell you, as someone who had dealt with a median nerve compression, which is like the precursor to carpal tunnel syndrome, it's not fun. It can be debilitating. So yeah, do what you can. Did you just say shaking your hands of your... Yes. So one of the median glide type stretches is you actually take your hands and you just kind of go like this. And so like it looks like you're just shaking water off your hands. So many of them look absolutely ridiculous, but I promise you they help. Because like I said, I was dealing with a median nerve compression. Like I've got like compression gloves on my desk that when things are bad I would wear those. I haven't needed them in a while, luckily. I had a compression sleeve and all that to help manage it. Like they put me on a topical steroid to deal with it and everything. So like it was a whole big thing. But between all that stuff and then, you know, being a lot more conscious about it has helped. And to like, to be entirely transparent, like, I have been conscious about trying to protect my hands from repetitive stress injury, because just being in software dev and all that kind of stuff, and then gaming where you sit at your computer all the time, it's always been a concern. But yeah. Yeah. Smoker Silver says it's kind of like a Frankenstein dance. I'm like, I can see that. But yeah, there's just a whole bunch of them. And most of them look absolutely ridiculous. But anyone who's done any type of physical therapy, whether, you know, they banged up their leg or, you know, torqued an ankle, almost all of your physical therapy stuff looks absolutely ridiculous. But usually that's because, like where we were doing that stretch there, like it's only really flexing 2 parts of the muscle in your arm, like that are really actually going. When you're doing like the physical therapy, they try and like go into every section that needs to be stretched and done, and they're doing them all. And it's just to get them to all the different specific spots they want to hit. You do have to do like really weird positions where it's like you turn your neck a certain way and you twist your arm a certain way to, you know, stretch just this one specific spot of that specific muscle kind of thing. And that's where all that comes in. And I'd say more about it, but I don't know more about it because I'm not a doctor. If you need medical advice, talk to a medical professional, of which I am not. But I can say those types of stretches will help a lot with the management. Now that said, if you're dealing with like wrist pain and all that, go see an actual doctor. Stretches are not going to be enough to make that go away. Like, do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Oh yeah, as the Greater Danish says, Rawl is not a doctor, but the acclaimed Dr. Ellen Ennis sure is. Dr. Ellen Ennis, and I'll show you here in just a couple minutes once we finish signing these logs up, is not just a doctor, they've got 4 doctorates. Ellen is a very, very, very much got the doctorates. She's got 2 doctorates in just like general medicine kind of stuff, just basic doctor certificates, and then she's got 2 doctorates in surgery. Why did she get 2 doctorates twice over in the same thing? I mean, you can ask her. I recommend being on your toes, though. She is fast at the crowbar. And a knife. But where most people go through the 8-year program of going, hey, Pancrawler, thank you for the raid. We're just getting, like, raid after raid after raid today, and I am about it. Playing some Chibi Robo. Why does that game sound so familiar? I know I haven't played it, but it sounds super familiar. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? Actually, not playing it? Oh, is it one of those days where, like, you try and get it working and all those kind of things, and it just really doesn't want to play kind of things? Because those days are the worst. Ah. I'm sorry to hear that. The technical issues can be the absolute worst to deal with. So, I am left with a decision at this point. Do I continue assuming we will later find a sledgehammer and keep building through this? Or do I immediately turn this and then we like frame this out? I'm going to frame it out weird. That's what we're doing. It's going to be a weird shape. Everyone who likes things that are symmetrical, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Symmetry is not happening. I wish I could, but it's not an option. Rawl, did I see the last 2 comments? I see a whole bunch of sirens and some wee-woos. Oh. Yeah, so it's normally when the Leviathan's moving through. Like, Subnautica, that's one of those ones I probably should bring on the channel as like an other games day that we repeat kind of thing. Because I played it super briefly, and it's very much in that realm of, oh, this game is going to be awesome, I can also see this game is going to take me an alarming amount of time. I need to dedicate real time to this game. And so I set it aside before we got into it. And it's absolutely the kind of game I would lose too much time. Asher says, well, everyone in OSHA is dead, so build whatever you want. I mean, yup. Yeah, and I've heard nothing but good things about Subnautica, and I've actually managed to not be that spoiled. Like, I've seen bits and pieces of it on streams, but not enough that I have any... Like, I know the intro because I played it briefly, where it's like, you know, you end up on the planet, and, like, I can't remember, because there's the Sub-Zero and the normal one. I have them both. Because, like, it was very much I started playing the games like, this game is a game that's going to absolutely consume my life. And then just never actually spent the time on it, kind of thing. Beautiful game at day and night. Don't go out at night. It is dark. Yep. As the ocean be. Yeah, so my plan to frame it is to go like this, go out here, and I guess this side will just kind of go like that. Make our salad. Because we are sort of at this point trying to juggle our weight. If we drop below 75 kilograms, we go underweight. Don't want it, don't like it. So we're going to want to work on that. So I'm going to go over here and grab 2 more boxes of nails, and we're going to get back to what we were doing. I probably should tune in to see what the next day's weather forecast is. Check that here. We'll be too late for this cycle. But as you can see, I do have my 4 doctorates. We were not joking. I can choose pick up, put it right here, and you'll see that is a surgeon degree certificate. That we have our 2 degrees in surgery and 2 degrees in just like general being a doctor. So, while I, streamer, am not a doctor, Dr. Ellen Ennis is a very successful doctor. Yep, and we have our bed of katanas. There are 21 katanas on our bed of katanas. And for the record, we are on just normal apocalypse loot. I haven't turned up the loot. I don't have mods that do anything to the loot. It's just, when you've survived for 10.5 months and killed 45,000 zombies, you find katanas. We also have the lucky trait, which I understand does help with that as well. How much I couldn't tell you. But yeah, we actually haven't gotten a new katana in a while now I think about it. Put the katanas in the refrigerator? Okay. But katana bed? How can you sleep soundly without a bed of katanas? At any moment a zombie could be there. But the katana bed protects. Plus, you know, it's a weird flex. And weird flex is best flex. Okay. So the next like carpentry day kind of thing we do, or base building whatever day, because we're not going to finish this frame, I do think we get the gates in place. Even if the full perimeter's not done. That way it's like, because right now we have kind of a wall here, and then this big opening and kind of a wall up there, and a big opening, that type deal. And that's not particularly useful to have these giant openings all over the place. Because it means none, like, I can't assume this side of the place is safe from zombies. Do a gatehouse? Like, oh yeah, like have like a little, Like up here, put like a little building with a staircase so I can look out over it. Is that what you're saying for a gatehouse? I mean, it could. This, like, I have no intentions for this space other than I probably want to make it so trees stop growing in it. Alright, so let's turn back on our radio and see what's what. Because I don't remember what it said for the weather tomorrow. My hope is the weather tomorrow is not crap. That is our goal right now, is not crap weather tomorrow. Oh, like a medieval castle. So, like, not... I mean, it probably is called a gatehouse. So you're talking like the checkpoint that you'd have at your front of your castle where you'd have one gate, there's an opening, and then you have your other gate, and it's where, you know, they would shoot the arrows down or they'd pour tar on you or whatever defense plan they had for you. It was the awful place that would happen. But, like, it's the double gates. I forget what they call that, where it's, you'd have the double gates, that way you could let people in the first gate and then slam the gate behind them, and now they're trapped in between the gates kind of thing. Yep, so we're expecting all the storm and all that all day today. We knew that. We're currently experiencing the storm today. Light fog, that's fine, compared to everything else we're dealing with. So that's going to be ending in the morning. That's perfect. Ending in the morning's fine. Okay. I got scared from most, like, activity, and I'm like, wait. Did you mean air activity? But no. That's the wrong verbiage. Okay, so we should be good so far as tomorrow being able to push Rosewood again. Excellent, excellent. Because I would really like to get into Rosewood, and these constant delays because of weather and everything are pretty annoying. Oh, you know what we should do? Everyone is talking about all the changes to foraging. Oh, wait, what? Huh? Okay, here we go. So it's the new guide on how to forage. It says there's nothing in question marks. To start searching, enables search. You can click on it, improving the system. Important, be sure to check relevant and logical locations. Cool. Get out of here. Actually, tar was very rarely used in sieges because of the financial cost it would take. Right, yeah. Oh, there's more stuff here. Oh, okay. So, it's basically saying the only thing that's negatively affecting me right now is the weather effect? That is much better. Like, this I appreciate a lot. That has a much better breakdown. I do wish so when we're looking at these bonuses and all that, I do wish the pluses and minuses were different colors or brightness or something. Because like you're seeing here, it's saying weather effect and all that kind of stuff. And because of the same color, it's kind of hard to notice. And I'm also noticing they're not... I mean, I'm assuming it's... The radius is one place, and then the negatives, and then the positives. So yeah. Yeah, that's so much better. Hey, Inverse, how's it going? Give me 1 second, and I'm going to go... I want to discard you. I don't want to pick up the sticks. Why are you making me do this? Why are you making me pick up the sticks? Oh, because those aren't forged. Those are... I chopped down trees. Right. Fair. Fine. Bear with me for 1 moment, because I'm going to do a shout out, and you're going to have to live with that, Inverse, because that's what I'm going to do. Because Inverse also playing Project Zomboid regularly. Come on, Nightbot. Come on, Nightbot. You can do this. I mean, I'm trying to shout you out, but Nightbot is not about it for some reason. You say something to offend Nightbot there? Like, yeah. Well, I'll give it a minute, then I'll try again. But yeah, Nuss is way better. Like, because I think one of the big problems is the delay. You couldn't really move around well. And so it just became kind of this whole headache. Oh, we had more planks. Oh, we have 30 more planks here. Well. Okay. Yeah, so like this point we're taking super severe penalties. Hey, how's it going? Discard those twigs. Get them out of here. Cool, yeah, this is way better. What? Hang on. You can just find magazines now? Holy crap, that's 120 XP for that. Well, foraging just became even more powerful. Because I knew you could find a lot of this good stuff, like specifics I didn't know. But just... Oh man, that thing's burning through the gas now. We're not going to fill up that generator yet. We're going to fill that up in the morning. Because I'm going to have to definitely do that when I go to head out. But in the meantime, first let's check. I'm pretty sure we've already read that magazine. As soon as I figure out where the magazine went, we probably put in a large backpack. Yep, we already read it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put away our saw and our nails. Because tomorrow we're going to be able to start pushing again. Meanwhile, we're going to grab... I'm going to step away from all that cloth, and I'm going to say, add... You know what? I lied. I'm going to step right on the cloth. We're accepting this. Add all of it. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, no, it's taking out of the backpack. I was about to say, it's like, wait a second. Usually it picks up all the stuff, then it starts putting in. Part of me was low-key hoping it would make it so I could just put them all in at one time. Nito Kachito says, good afternoon, Rawl. And good afternoon as well. How is it going? Inverse Flex says, I do wish you could discard items on the ground already. I agree. Because it is a little annoying, especially when you chop trees and you leave twigs everywhere, because why would you pick them up? Other than the fact that they're everywhere. Neo Kachu says, good, just got back from the second interview and did a really good job. Fingers crossed. I wish you the best, and I hope you get the job you're pursuing and all that. I'm going to go ahead, and while we're doing this, attempt the shout out a second time, because Nightbot is... There you go. So, what have you been up to in Project Zomboid there, Inverse? I haven't caught your stream in the last couple of days. I haven't caught many people's streams in the last couple of days. Been trying to chase down a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, no, I did catch that. Sorry, Darkstrider. That, yeah, they didn't typically use tar or pitch as a defense. You know, that much. Like, it was very rarely used. But yeah, you get the idea. They have, I forget the term for it is, where you'd have the coned windows and everything, so you had archers able to shoot in, but like really difficult for people inside wherever the man trap was or whatever it's called. I don't know the proper name. You know, to do much about it. Or you'd have people above just chuck rocks down on them and all that kind. I've been doing a challenge I made called Road Trip, Raven Creek to Louisville, other maps and route as well. Post around. I actually, where did I see that? Was it on Twitter? I did see somewhere about that you'd have to go from like Louisville, or from you go from like your first town that you start in, and then you'd have to go through certain towns. Like you basically had a certain route you kind of go through. I remember reading about that briefly, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I do like that people are coming up with all sorts of challenges. Yeah, because I definitely remember that was a big thing we remember reading about with those fortifications, was just them taking a bunch of like big rocks and whatever, like junk up above there. So when there's a siege, you just chunk all the stuff down. Gotcha. That's cool. Alright, so we should be getting pretty good. How is our situation and stuff? Water, we're all topped off, ready to go. We got plenty of knives, we got a machete, we got a backup crowbar, got a garden hoe. Let's make fish. Let's just grab whatever amount of fish out of here fits in our backpack. That's how much fish we'll make. But yeah, that sounded like a really good challenge, because like that challenge I don't find so there's a pro and cons to the challenges when a lot of people are coming up with them, that a lot of challenges will have like all of these different rules and restrictions that are hard to go by, that it's not like game setting stuff. It's like you may only use this weapon for X amount of time, you may only use that weapon for that amount of time. And that's cool and all. But the issue I always run to those ones is like just keeping track of the rules is really hard. So like trying to be honest by the challenge, it's very easy to fail being honest by the challenge. But if it's something that's like, no, here's the way you follow through the map, it's like, okay, that's much easier to follow, where it's like, I start here, and then from here I'm supposed to go there, and there, and there. Like, that's a fairly straightforward challenge to follow, so that's pretty awesome. And then you just have your, like, game setting stuff, I'm fine, because you set that up when you start the challenge, you save it, and you're good. You don't have to think about it more. Because there's been a few challenges that like sounded interesting, and like the works challenge is a really fun looking challenge, but it's so much you have to keep track of. I'm like, okay, I don't realistically think I could keep track of it all. Gotcha. Excellent. That sounds like an awesome challenge. Like there's been a few good challenges that they keep the rules very simple. Like I do like Recrafted's Survivor Man challenge. Like I haven't done it since the multiplayer update, because before it was kind of killed by the changes to foraging, just because of the inability to get weapons until you've gotten your stuff forged up. But it's kind of straightforward that you can only use the stuff out of this bag. Everything else has to effectively come from nature unless it is simply not available. And it's like, that's straightforward. Like, that's a fairly easy thing to understand. And there's specifics to it, but it's like, that's not a bad one to keep track of. Yeah, we're just gonna go sleep, because we are way beyond due for a helicopter. Like, really? We can deal with this. I have a solution to this problem.